Women are 50% of the population with 25% representation.
In Parliament, the representation of women is so low that men are the deciding majority. 75% of members in Parliament are men, while only 25% are females. The percentage of women in Parliament has nearly doubled in the last 20 years, but this only translates into 22% of women in Parliament today. Efforts to close Canada's gender gap are moving at a rate so slow it could take Canadian women 228 years to catch up to men.
Known as the Famous Five, Emily Murphy, Henrietta Mayer-Edwards, Irene Parlby, Louise McKinney, and Nellie McClung changed the Canadian political landscape forever. All five women lived during a time with several discriminatory laws in place. This motivated them to take action. They all passionately believed women should be present at all stages of the legislative process. The majority of Canadian women were allowed to vote for the first time in the 1921 election. They could also run for office. But women were unable to enter the Senate. In 1927, the five women asked the Supreme Court of Canada, does the word person of the BNA Act include female persons? After 5 weeks of debate, the Supreme Court decided that the word person did not include women. And to those who would ask why the word person should include females, the obvious answer is, why should it not? It was a historic moment. The Famous Five achieved the right for women to serve in the Senate. They also paved the way for women to participate in other aspects of public life.
Section 7 of the Charter states, everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security of the person, and the right not to be deprived thereof except in accordance with the principles of fundamental justice. Section 28 guarantees that all rights covered in the Charter apply equally to men and women.
I think it's an age-long concern and issue that's existed. There haven't been very many women in politics. I think part of the reason is the fact that there are a lot of stereotypes that exist around women and men, but a lot of the stereotypes about women are negative, and therefore they're seen as more emotional or whatnot. And as a result, there are fewer women that are in politics, and so although there are more women today, when they have issues or concerns, they don't feel as comfortable bringing them up. They also probably don't have the support of men who will back them up or support them or be their voice when they do raise these concerns, and as a result, there are fewer women who will come forward with those concerns. That's not to say that women don't, they do, but how often are they heard, and how often do their concerns actually get resolved? That is also a question to ask. I think today in Canada there are a lot of women in politics, and I think that when you compare it to maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago, even 50 years ago, there were far less women, so we've come a long way. Historically, especially with the status of women and
getting more people into politics, getting more people into the House of Commons, making it more representative, making more women like me, working class BME, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough gig. It is a tough gig, let me tell you that. It's not for everybody. But what I've got to do is make sure that my position and my responsibility when I'm in the House of Commons means something to the local people in my constituency, but also for women, for working class people, and that I actually open up.
Under Section 15 of the Charter ensures equal protection and benefits of law without discrimination based on race, nationality, color, religion, sex, age, or mental or physical disability.
Shannon, why are you using taxpayers' money to buy luxurious stuff like clothing?
Can we have a comment? Don't you care about climate change? Why are you sitting here drinking coffee, wasting taxpayers' money?
Yeah.
Shouldn't you be like the other men politicians out there actually doing something? We voted you in for a reason.
Yeah,
why aren't you doing anything? Can we have a comment? Can we have a comment?
What are your views on climate change?
What are your views on feminism?
What are your views on gun control?
For women's rights has too often become synonymous with man-hating. If there is one thing I know for certain, it is that this has to stop.
The House of Commons is quite a brutal world. It's quite bullying. Speaking in Parliament can be quite challenging. And I think when you're a minority in that environment, it's harder.
Now let's go see what the professors from the University of Manchester have to say.
The research that we do at Manchester University is about finding ways to empower women in terms of politics, but also financially, so that they've got equal rights before the law, but also equal capacity to take up their rights and actually enact their rights.
Gender inequality doesn't make sense on any level. By marginalizing the rights of women, we deny ourselves the opportunity to live a just and fair world.